So if you watch my channel enough, you know that I am a huge fan of shield builds. I'm just a huge fan of the shield in general, and when you pair it with a competent pistol, I think it's just even better. I think that a good shield pistol build can get you through all the normal content in the game quite easily. I mean, there isn't a heroic mission that I can't do rather quickly with a pistol build. When Title Update 8 dropped, one of the first builds that I actually worked on was my DPS pistol build. But with TU10, what they ended up doing was nerfing some of the pistols that I actually liked using. And because of this, the damage output on that build actually ended up dropping a little bit. But with the addition of Foundry Bulwark, I really kind of wanted to go back and maybe reevaluate some of the design of my pistol build. However, I was never really excited for Foundry Bulwark, and this may sound kind of funny considering I love shield builds, but the reason is I don't like a build where it's basically just like in your face, this is all you can use and this is how you use it and that's it. And Foundry Bulwark is really one of those builds where you have to use a shield, obviously. I mean, that's the main point of the 4-piece. If you're not using the shield, then there's no point in having a 4-piece. At least with, like Eclipse Protocol, you can use any status effect you want. So there's CC abilities, there's damage abilities, there's a wide range of things that you can use to basically just, change up your build. With Foundry Bulwark, it's really dedicated. You have to use the shield, and that kind of, discourages me from using it because I don't want to be told exactly how I have to run a build. For that reason, I've pretty much chosen to avoid the 4-piece Foundry Bulwark. Plus, the Foundry Bulwark seems to really pigeonhole you into being that tanky shield build, where I don't really like being a tanky shield build. I actually prefer being a skill-based shield build or a DPS-based shield build rather than just the traditional I'm a tank build. And that's really what Foundry Bulwark is about. It's basically, kind of forcing you to be a tank role, even if you don't really want to be that. So I wanted to break away from that idea that I have to be a tank with Foundry Bulwark and really go into a more DPS-based build. Alright, so jumping into the build here, I am using the Technician for that additional skill tier, but I'm also using it for the Artificer Hive to help repair my shield. Now my primary weapon is something you've seen quite a bit. It's my AKM with Optimist. Obviously I still need to get another better one. Now my secondary weapon is just my Baker's Dozen, and honestly it's probably not even the best rifle to use. It's probably not even the best weapon to use anymore. I do actually like using my military Mark 46. It is a good weapon just because, obviously the rolls on it are really good. But, it depends on what you have, whatever you like. It's not really specific. My main weapon is actually going to be my Liberty pistol. You can see here 30% pistol damage, 10% out of cover damage. But the Liberty or Death talent is really what I want to use in this build. Basically, if I'm avoiding headshots completely, I can build up a stack of 30. And basically that 30 stack will give me 60% weapon damage. So aiming at a body shot repeatedly, I can do some really good damage with that 60% damage buff. And that just allows me to recover some of the damage that I'm losing from running 3 pieces of Foundry Bulwark. So basically that 60 covers for that 45% weapon damage that I'm losing from the 3 blue rolls. Now, I am using the Coyote mask. Obviously, that's one of the standard things that I like to use with my pistol build, just because I am going to be within that 15-meter radius most of the time, so I get that 25% crit hit damage. My backpack is going to be a Providence defense that you've seen quite a bit. It's got Vigilance on it, pretty good crit rolls on there. Weapon damage is a little bit low, but it's very hard to get exactly what you want all the time on every single piece. And I still haven't found one, no matter how much I farm. And the same thing for my Sacrifice. I have not really found a better piece than this one, even though this one is quite good and pretty competent itself. But there are some better options with these 2 pieces that I will get into towards the end. Now, my gloves, Foundry Bulwark, armor standard, but obviously I've rolled it to crit hit chance. Now, my knee pads and my holster, again, armor with crit hit chance. Moving into my shield, you can see here I've got almost 10 million health on my shield. That's pretty good. I'm hitting tier 4 because I've got that additional skill tier, so I am having a stronger shield than my previous DPS pistol build. And you can see here I'm running my Artificer Hive, but unlike my previous build, this one does have a lot less skill repair because I have replaced my skill tiers with armor rolls. So I am losing a good amount of repair from my Artificer Hive, but I am gaining a little bit more health on my shield. So it's kind of a trade-off. Now, all right, 3 pieces that I want to talk about: the mask, the chest, and the backpack. All right, to state it simply, Providence Defense and Coyote are not the go-to pieces that you have to use. Now, if you wanted to replace the mask in this exact setup, Providence Defense would go great. Obviously, 3 pieces of Providence Defense, you get the headshot, the crit chance, and the crit damage. With the Coyote's mask, if they're past 15 meters, then you're going to be losing 5% crit hit damage compared to the Providence defense, where you're always going to have that 15% crit hit damage. But of course, if you're playing in a team, having that slightly tanky DPS build who's going to be a little bit closer to the enemies, giving your team that buff, is a lot more beneficial than maybe it would be just for a solo player. However, if you can get a Grupo Sombra, a Cheska Varoba, or even Douglas and Harding, if you can get those pieces perfectly rolled with crit hit chance, crit hit damage, weapon damage, and a red mod for, crit damage or crit chance, and the talents that you want, which are Vigilance and probably Glass Cannon. Now you don't have to go with Glass Cannon. There are other options, but those are the ones that I'm using. So if you can get those perfectly rolled, you will have a better build than with Providence Defense. Obviously, you're not going for headshots, so that 10% headshot damage is not really going to help you in the build. The only time you use that headshot damage is when you have no other choice and you need to repair your shield quickly. So that's pretty much the only reason I would use it. The rest of the time, I am trying to basically avoid headshots, and I'm trying to keep that 30 stack on my pistol so I can get that 60% weapon damage. So if you had a Douglas and Harding with perfect rolls, you could get that 20% pistol damage. And then if you added the Cheska Varoba and the Grupo Sombra, basically you would be keeping the 2 and 3 piece bonuses from the Providence, but instead what you'd be doing is getting rid of that headshot damage for the much greater pistol damage. So while just looking at it, it may seem like I'm losing a lot of damage rolls. Just running the Liberty with its damage buff, I am getting a huge trade-off there. This mission that I was running only took me about 10 minutes, and that was with, opening all the chests and looking at all the gear and comparing stats and stuff like that. So I was not really having any trouble running this mission on Heroic. Unlike my previous build, however, the armor rolls that I do have, the 3 armor rolls, do help to counteract the squishiness of my Glass Cannon. So I am getting a good amount of damage, countering most of the Glass Cannon, basically just making my build about as squishy as just a regular all-red build without Glass Cannon. So, not extremely disastrous. Plus with my 3 blue rolls, I am gaining a little bit more health on my shield, making it a little bit tankier compared to my red and yellow build. It's definitely a very good combination, and this is not like a extremely complicated build. It's a very simple build, but it works. Very simple, it works, and it's good, and I like it. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.